Oh, okay. Welcome, everybody. I'm Christine. I'm the Astro CEO, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So, today we are going to talk about something major that is happening this week. We're going to talk about Uranus. The planet Uranus is getting ready to go retrograde starting on Friday, November 7th, which is 2 days from today. So, I thought I better come on and do a video, and we're going to discuss this. I'll let you know what to expect. And I do my readings based on your rising sign, so not your moon, not your sun. It's more accurate when we look at your rising sign, so apply that when you're listening to the video. But yeah, so let's talk about Uranus for just a second, and then I'll get into all 12 signs. Uranus is the planet. It's the only planet in the solar system that rotates on its side. Okay, so it's kind of like crazy. It's crazy energy. It does things differently from the norm. So it sets itself apart from other planets just for the simple fact that it rotates on its side. It is the planet that is known for radical change. Okay, so it transits about every 7 years. It'll go into a new house that will affect you. So this energy kind of stays with us for a really long time, for about 7 to 8 years. And so right now, what is happening in the sky, Uranus is set to go retrograde on Friday. And so what that means is when a planet goes retrograde, it's time to revisit some old patterns, some old energy. So it'll be retrograde until the early part of next year, into 2026. So I thought it'd be really important to talk about this because we need to know, all of us, where the unexpected, where are you going to get blindsided? Because that's the type of energy that Uranus brings with it. It forces us to change. It's known as radical change. It's known as electricity. It's known as the mad scientist. It's also one of those planets that, depending on where it hits inside your, what house it hits in the transit, you can have some of your best ideas, okay, when it hits a particular area. So I'm going to go through all 12 signs. I'm going to show you exactly where this is going to impact you personally. But get ready, buckle your seatbelts. Now, it is going retrograde, okay, just for a couple of months until the early part of next year. But it's going retrograde back into where it was for the past 7 years. So you're used to this kind of energy, okay? So without further ado, let's go ahead and do the forecast for all 12 signs. Okay, Aries, how are my Aries rising? Okay, well, let's jump right in. We're here to talk about Uranus and how this is going to impact you. For all of my Aries rising, Uranus, unfortunately, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it is going into your second house. Your second house deals with money. Okay, this is the money that you make. And so now, when it's in this particular area, you can come up with some really innovative ways to do creative financing. Okay, and so that is the plus side. Uranus, again, like I said in my intro, Uranus is the planet that brings radical change. Expect the unexpected. So that's a little troublesome when you have to say, well, just expect the unexpected when it comes to your finances. Like nobody wants to hear that. But it's my job as your astrologer to let you know, hey, these are the areas that you need to watch out for. So it's unfortunately, but maybe it's a good thing. I always say unfortunately, but maybe it's a good thing that we shake things up in your finances, that you get the wake up call that you've been needing, to really take a look at your finances. Now, remember, when a planet goes retrograde, I'm just looking at my notes here. I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. When a planet goes retrograde, it's time to reevaluate and take care of unfinished business. So Uranus has been there kind of shaking up your money area. Now, when I say money area, this is the money that you actually earn from working. Okay. This has nothing to do with lottery winnings, inheritances. This is the money that you make when you work. Okay. So it's there. It'll be there till the early part of next year, till February of 2026. It's going to do one last visit to kind of shake it up again and really give you the wake-up call that you need to take a look at your finances. And then once it leaves in February, you're done. Okay. So what does this really involve? It's going to put the spotlight on money, your security, Okay, so we don't like shakeups in our security. We want our security to be stable, right? But I bet you anything after this transit, because remember, Uranus has been in this house for the past 7 to 8 years. So you're kind of used to this energy of having this shakeup in your finances. It deals with resources, bank accounts, savings. This is the time really when you want to do what I call creative financing. So, my girlfriends and I used to say that years ago when we were in our 20s about how we were geniuses at doing creative financing to get the money to do the things that we wanted to do. So hopefully that you learn from this transit. Just know it's just going to be here for a short little time until the early part of next year, and then you're pretty much done with this transit of Uranus in your second house. So and then it's going to move into your third house, which is much different. I do want to say something about that. There's a little bonus here for all the Aries rising out there. I just recently had Uranus in my third house, and I had it there for the past 7 to 8 years. And I can tell you firsthand what I went through when Uranus was in my third house. So remember, Uranus is going to go into your second house until the early part of next year. And then after that, it's going to go into your third house. I just finished up a transit with Uranus in my third house. So what is the third house? The third house deals with your neighborhood. It deals with your neighbors. It deals with siblings. It deals with your voice, being able to voice things that you desire, being able to speak. It deals with podcasting, YouTube, anywhere where you get to use your voice, public speaking, teaching. Okay, so how it really impacted me, like I said, I hosted Uranus in my third house, and I'm covering this because this is what you're getting ready to go into as of next year. We had neighbors that were absolutely crazy. And when I say crazy, they just went off their rocker because remember, the third house deals with neighbors, it deals with your community. And these neighbors lost their mind. I don't know if you guys ever saw that show, Fear Thy Neighbor. Like that's what we were living through. Our neighbors just they started out being like normal people, and then they just kind of went off their rocker, and it got so bad that we ended up having to move. My husband and I, we just made the decision we're just going to move, and it was unfortunate at the time because I told my husband I found my dream home. We had an amazing home that was beautiful, and it overlooked the Rocky Mountains and everything, and it was amazing. And I told my husband, this is my dream home. Like, I don't ever want to leave. But our neighbors got so out of control that we had no choice. I finally told my husband, we've got to move. And so, and I'm sharing this because this is what you're getting ready to go into, is hosting Uranus in your third house starting next year. And so back to my story, it got so bad that we ended up moving. But on the bright side, hindsight, we found a house, because we were forced to move, we found a house that was bigger. It was it was brand new. It was only a year old, and we got a really good deal on it. It's the house that we're in now is bigger than my previous house. And we have amazing views here. And because it's a brand new house, it's so energy efficient that it literally cut our electric bills in half. So it was like a blessing in disguise. So we ended up moving, and I hated to have to move, but our neighbors were insane. It was like Fear Thy Neighbor, that show. And so we ended up moving, but it ended up working out for the best. And then on top of that, we got a better interest rate. So not only that, we got a better interest rate, we got a good deal on the house. It was a brand new home that was only a year old, so it reduced our electric bill. And we still have amazing views. It's just from the opposite side of the house now. So we have still amazing views that overlook the valley. And we have less neighbors around us. So it ended up being a blessing in disguise. But I wanted to share that story because that's what you're getting ready to go into. You're getting ready to go into uncertainty regarding your neighbors, your community, your siblings. And at the same time, my sister lost her mind too. She went off her rocker. So I had issues with my sister on top of all that. So it was, so again, it deals with your community. It deals with your voice. It deals with your neighborhood. Let me just finish grabbing my notes here because I want to make sure I don't miss anything. It deals with your ability to speak. your thinking, your reading, your intellect. It also deals with contracts and agreements, proposals. It deals with sales, marketing, public relations, self-promotion. And then, of course, also it deals with your neighborhood. It deals with your neighbors, short distance trips. And we took a ton of trips during that time as well. So it wasn't all doom and gloom. So Uranus, again, is that planet of innovative change, okay? It's going to step in and force you to change in these areas of your life. We did more traveling during that time than I literally, we were taking about 4 trips a year, is what in including also in addition to that, short day trips as well. So we did a lot of traveling during that time. So yeah, so that's kind of what you have to look forward to next year. Obviously, when we get closer to that time frame, I'll do another video on that. But for now, my dear Aries rising, this deals with your money right now. Okay, so unexpected things involving your money. So it's a good time to just go ahead and revisit that. Again, Uranus is known as the awakener. Okay, it comes in and it brings radical change into your life, and it's going to bring change regarding your money. So that's what you have to look forward to. One last time, and then you're done. But the good thing is, you've been dealing with this for the past 7, 8 years, so you're a pro at this. You kind of know what to expect. But Uranus is going retrograde on Friday, November 7th, for one last visit regarding your money, and then you're done with that. Okay, so let me know. Put a note in the comments and let me know how you guys are doing. Okay, so there's your forecast, my dear Aries rising. All right, Taurus rising. How are my Taurus rising doing? This is your Uranus forecast. So I wanted to let you know that Uranus is getting ready to go retrograde this coming Friday, November 7th. And it is going to go retrograde into your first house. Okay, it'll stay there until the early part of next year. And so let's talk about that for a moment. So let's talk about the first house. Now, you are no stranger to the first house because Uranus takes about 7 to 8 years to do a full transit. So you've been dealing with this for a while, having Uranus in your first house. So what does that mean? So Uranus in your first house, or your first house just in general, deals with you. It's all about you. It's about your health. It's your vitality. Uranus is the awakener. So you've probably had some wake-up calls regarding your health, or maybe you had a scare and you're like, oh no, I got to change everything about my health and my vitality, because that's what the first house deals with. So it's all about you. So the spotlight's going to be on you until the early part of next year. Uranus is going retrograde back into the first house. So let's talk about the first house for just a moment. It deals with what you look like. Okay, so the first house, so maybe you did some radical change. Uranus is the planet of radical change. So maybe you just got a radical tattoo or a radical hairstyle. It deals with what you look like. It deals with your personality. It deals with your drive, your goals, your priorities. Maybe your priorities have totally shifted in the past 7 or 8 years. Uranus, like I said, is getting ready to go retrograde just for a short period back into your first house for one last visit. It deals with the way that you present yourself to the world. So maybe you had a fresh outlook regarding that. It deals with your energy, your vitality, your deepest desires. And again, it deals with, most importantly, like your health too. So maybe this is one last visit to say, you know what, we're coming in, we're going to make sure we just facilitate all the change that we need to regarding your health and your vitality, how you present yourself to the world. You won't have to host this again for many, many years, because Uranus it takes 7 to 8 years for it to do one transit. Okay, so take advantage of this time. It's visiting your first house, which is all about you. So do the changes necessary to really bring about who you are individually as a person during this time, and don't worry about what other people think. Okay, just do you. Okay, do you the best way that you can. So anyway, so I hope you enjoyed that, and yeah, I'll catch you next time. All right, that was for my Taurus rising. Okay, Gemini, this is for my Gemini rising. We're here today to talk about Uranus transiting. It's actually getting ready to go retrograde starting this coming Friday, November 7th. So what is Uranus? Uranus is that crazy planet It deals with innovation, radical change. It's known as the awakener. And it is getting ready to go retrograde into your 12th house. So, what is your 12th house? The 12th house in astrology is what we call like the attic. This is where all the secrets are kept, dreams, intuition, and things that are hidden. It also deals with your guardian angels. It deals with confinement and hospitals. So you're going to have some kind of a wake up energy in this area. So it could be that maybe your dreams become more intuitive or your dreams become more vivid. It deals with secrets. So it could uncover, Uranus is the great awakener. So it's going to come in and really kind of shake up that area of your life, which is the 12th house. And again, this happens for my Gemini rising. This happens on November 7th. Now, you are no stranger to this at all because Uranus takes about 7 to 8 years to do a transit. So you've been dealing with this with Uranus in your 12th house for several years, 7 to 8 years. So you're no stranger to this energy, but Uranus is going to go retrograde and give you one last visit into this particular house. So it'd be interesting. I recommend keeping a dream journal. And secrets are revealed. Like, I know secrets are hard, like when they come to the surface, but I would rather, at the end of the day, I'd want to know the truth. Okay, what is the truth? Reveal the secret so that I can deal with the truth. I can deal with it head on and decide what I'm going to do once I hear about the secret. So I have a client of mine who is a Gemini rising. And she found out during the past 7 to 8 years that she had a secret inheritance. That was number one. That was one of the secrets. She also found out her husband was cheating on her. And what was the other thing? Oh, he was planning on leaving. So he ended up leaving. He ended the marriage, wrote her a note when she was at the doctor's office, wrote her a note and left and took all the money, cleaned out the bank accounts and left. And he had been planning this for a while. But so it's a client of mine that's a Gemini rising that, yeah, that's what she's been dealing with for the past 7, 8 years. So you're going to deal with it one more time. This transit will end the early part of next year. But yeah, it deals with secrets and things that are hidden. They're going to come to the surface so that you can see it and you can deal with it and you can move on. Okay. Because I don't personally, I don't like secrets. It's just not good. Just tell me the truth so that I can make a decision on what I'm going to do with you after I hear what the truth is. So I'd rather know the truth, good, bad, or indifferent. I want to know what the truth is. And so I know sometimes it's hard. It's hard. Like my client, when I was coaching her, she was like, I just kind of wanted to go back to living underneath a rock. And I said, no, you can't. That's horrible. You don't want to go back to that life where you were living underneath a rock and not knowing what was going on, because she's struggling right now as a Gemini rising, having to deal with the truth, having to deal with secrets that have been exposed. And yeah, but some interesting things happened. Like I said, she found out she was the beneficiary on a huge inheritance that she knew nothing about. So it's not always just bad secrets, but it's secrets just in general of all kinds. But yeah, I just wanted to share that little bit about what my client's going through, who's a Gemini rising. So you're going to deal with that for just a few more months till the early part of next year, and then you'll be done. So anyway, so yeah, I hope that you enjoyed that, and I'll catch you next time. Okay, Cancer. How are my Cancer risings doing? This is your forecast for Uranus. Uranus is getting ready to go retrograde, and it's going retrograde in your 11th house. So you are no stranger to this. Uranus takes about 7 to 8 years to go through a transit. So you've been dealing with this particular energy in the 11th house for the past 7 to 8 years. Uranus is set to go retrograde this coming Friday, which is the 7th of November, for one last visit into the 11th house. So let's talk about that. It's interesting that the 11th house is really interesting because it deals with your hopes, your wishes, and your dreams. Just to name a few, it deals with new friendships, it deals with surprises, it deals with groups and memberships. So there could be some shakeups there. Uranus is the great awakener. It is the planet that comes in and creates radical change in your life. And it has, for the past 7 to 8 years, has created radical change in your 11th house. So let's talk about that for just a moment. This house also deals with injustice. So there could be some themes that came up in your life where you're like, you know what, this just isn't right. And I need to step in and fix this the best way that I know how. It's like I said, it's the house of hopes, wishes, and dreams. It's where dreams do come true. So it'd be interesting to see what that has brought your life. It also deals with professional associations and networking. So really, it came into your life to create a big shakeup and surprises regarding that area. So I don't know if cancers you've dealt with maybe leaving a group or deciding that the group that you're in is no longer for you and you're looking for your new tribe to hang out in. That could have happened during this time. It deals with friendships, hopes, wishes, and dreams. Like maybe what you thought you were wishing for, you're like, nah, I need to change that because that doesn't align with my values anymore. And so I need to hope and wish and dream for other things, maybe with more substance could be the case. So yeah, it's here for one last visit in your 11th house, and then you'll be done. It's set to end this retrograde in February of 2026. So it's one last visit where it's going to create some shakeups in your 11th house. Okay, so I hope that you enjoyed that, and I'll catch you next time. Okay, welcome, my Leo rising. So this is your forecast for Uranus. Uranus is getting ready to go retrograde in your 10th house. So this is interesting for my Leo risings out there. The 10th house, well, let me just interject this really quick. Uranus is one of those planets that steps in and creates radical change in your life, and it's known as the Great Awakener. And its job is to come in and kind of shake things up a little bit so that you can better your life. Okay, so for Leo risings, you've had this energy of Uranus in your 10th house for the past 7 to 8 years. So you're no stranger to this energy. So, what is the 10th house? The 10th house deals with your career, okay, your profession, what you do, how you show up for your job. It's fame, it's promotion, it's honors, it's your professional opportunities, it's your reputation, it's like the kudos that you get, and it's your status in the community. So all of that has been shaken up for the past 7 to 8 years. The interesting thing also about the 10th house, it's not just career and professional opportunities. Um, it also, which is really interesting, the 10th house also deals with judges. So I don't know if any of you had legal things that you've had going on or had to be in front of a magistrate or a judge during the past 7 to 8 years. That energy could be there. It also deals with high level VPs. So maybe you got a new job where now all of a sudden you're dealing with high level VPs. And it deals with government officials as well. So, um, so that is the shakeup. So Uranus is coming in for one last time, starting this Friday, which is 2 days from today, to do some more shakeups in your career area, and then you will be done with this transit. So this current transit, this retrograde, will go until February of next year, 2026. So one last visit. You should be used to this because you've been dealing with it for 7 or 8 years, but one last shakeup in your career, and hopefully they've been good shakeups. Okay, so hopefully, because Leo, Leo rising, I'm a Leo sun, I'm not Leo rising, but Leos, we have that energy about us. Like we are stardom. I'm just going to flat out say it. Okay, and we are set here to rule the world. I mean, that's just how Leos are. We like to lead. We like to be the leaders. So for my Leo risings out there, this comes natural, dealing with high level VPs and being out there, with the mucky mucks and elevating your career, because that's what we're destined to do. So, like I said, I'm not a Leo rising, but I'm Leo sun, so I have a lot of that energy. But hopefully, the shakeups in your profession and your career have been great shakeups, and hopefully, it helped elevate your status out there with your career. All right, so. Again, this shakeup is going to continue until February of next year, February 2026. So, all right, I would love to hear how my Leo risings are doing. Just put a comment down below, and I'd love to hear what kind of shakeups you've been experiencing. All right, so there you go. That's your forecast for Uranus retrograde. Okay, welcome, Virgo rising. This is your forecast for Uranus going retrograde, which will happen on Friday, November 7th. So, Uranus is the planet that we call the Great Awakener. It facilitates change in your life. It is getting ready to go retrograde for all my Virgo rising into your ninth house. So, what is the ninth house? The ninth house is the house that deals with higher education, international travel. It's a very interesting house, and I'm going to go over everything that it covers. But you're no stranger to this energy. Uranus has actually been in this house for the past 7 to 8 years, kind of shaking up, your thoughts about religion and philosophy, things of that nature. But let's go over in detail. Uranus is, again, the Great Awakener, but it's going retrograde in your ninth house. The ninth house encourages to think big and bold. It helps us to think of the future in the biggest, boldest way and in the broadest terms. It deals with long distance travel, international communications, having interactions and relationships with foreigners. It deals with distant relatives and in-laws and higher education. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of my Virgo risings out there during the past 7 or 8 years, you've possibly considered going back to school, to like a technical school, or maybe to finish up your degree. It deals with philosophy, religion. So maybe you've gone through, Uranus had stepped in the past 7, 8 years to really, challenge you about your belief system, your thoughts about religion, or maybe you've changed religions during that time. It also deals with publishing. And the other interesting thing I want to say is that it deals with legal matters. Okay, so wouldn't be surprised there that Uranus, since it's been there for the past 7, 8 years, you've had a lot of legal issues that have popped up that you had to deal with. Again, this is just a general reading. This is a broad range of different things that could happen in your ninth house. So, like I said, Uranus is here for one last visit. It'll start on Friday, November 7th. It'll be here until February of 2026. One last visit here into the ninth house, and then you're done with this energy. So yeah, there you go. So I would love to hear how this is affecting you for my Virgo risings. Again, this is affecting your ninth house. And yeah, I'd love to know. All right, so there you go. There's your forecast. Okay, welcome Libra rising. This is your forecast for Uranus. Uranus is getting ready to go retrograde into your eighth house. Uranus is associated with radical change and innovation. So it has been in your eighth house actually for the past 7 to 8 years. So you're no stranger to this energy at all. But it is getting ready to go retrograde back into your eighth house for a short visit up until February of 2026. So let's talk about that for a moment. What is the eighth house? So the eighth house really is an interesting house. Joint financial matters always come under the eighth house. It deals with uh, endings, it deals with things being discarded, and it deals with your partner's prosperity. It also deals with prizes, gifts, inheritances, tax payments, refunds, bonuses, commissions, royalties, alimony, mortgages, child support, credit, loans. Those are all things that are under this house. Also, the money to fund your big idea comes underneath the eighth house. And so, also, psychic experiences are elevated in the eighth house. So, imagine this planet, which is Uranus, and it's stepping into the eighth house to create all this radical change with a lot of different things. Like I said, you're used to this energy. It has been in your eighth house for the past 7 to 8 years. It is set to go retrograde this coming Friday on November 7th for one last visit into the eighth house, and then it's going to move on into the next house. So you'll have this energy one last time. You're going to be dealing with it until February of next year. So I would love to hear how this is affecting you for all my Libra risings out there. The eighth house is really interesting, and it covers a lot of different areas. So I would love to hear how this is impacting you, or how it has impacted you during the past 7 to 8 years. Okay, so there you go. There's your forecast. Okay, Scorpio rising. I almost said Libra. Scorpio rising. How are my Scorpio risings doing out there? This is your forecast. We're going to talk about Uranus. It's the planet of, it's called the Great Awakener. It's the planet of radical change. It is getting ready to go back into your seventh house for just a short visit. It has been actually in the seventh house for the past 7 to 8 years. Um, it dipped out into another house, but it's going back to the seventh here coming this Friday, which is November 7th. So you're no stranger to this energy. The seventh house is all about your committed relationships, your marriage, your partnerships, anywhere where you have a relationship where you say, you know what, we're committed, we're going to do this. So Uranus has stepped in and said, whoa, we're going to kind of shake this up. We're going to waken you up a little bit and put the spotlight on your seventh house. So you're used to this sort of energy. As well. So it deals with agreements, agreements between two people. It deals with marriages. It also deals with, which is really interesting, the seventh house deals with the experts that you hire to help you out. So the experts that you hire could be attorneys, agents, people that come and do work on your house. That's an expert that you're hiring to come do some maintenance work on your house. So it has really shaken up that area of your life. It deals with business partnerships, marriage, two people coming together to form an agreement. So contracts, either written or verbal contracts. So really Uranus has stepped in for all of my Scorpio risings. It has stepped in and really put the spotlight on that part of your life. But hopefully you fared out well. Again, this is one last visit into your seventh house. It'll be here until February of next year, and then you're done. You're done with the shakeup in that area of your life. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this forecast. Okay, Sagittarius rising. How are my Sagittarius risings doing out there? So, Uranus. Uranus is the planet of radical change. It's the awakener. It has a really long transit. When Uranus does a transit, it stays in a particular house for 7 to 8 years. And so right now, Uranus is getting ready to go retrograde. So it's going to go back into your sixth house for just a short period of time. And the sixth house is a very interesting house. Okay, so the sixth house deals with, we in astrology, we call this the house of slavery. Oh, sorry, there's my dog right there. It's known as the house of slavery. So I wouldn't be surprised if during the past 7 or 8 years, you've always had to put yourself in check, like, wow, am I really being a slave here? I do have a client that is a Sagittarius rising, and we talk about this a lot because she's always redefining what her business is going to look like. Because at various points during this past 7 or 8 years, she's like, look, I feel like a slave. I'm busting my butt here and I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere. So that's the kind of energy that the sixth house brings. It's known as the house of slavery. It's also known as the house of your daily routine. Like Uranus is the radical shapeshifter, and it comes in and it could shake up your daily routine. So maybe in the past 7 or 8 years, you have done that constantly where you're just trying to find a happy medium of what your daily routine is going to look like, whether in your personal life or in business. It's the methods that you use to get your work done that could have had radical shifts throughout the past 7 or 8 years. Um, it also deals with your body, okay, and keeping yourself healthy. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you Sagittarius risings out there really had the spotlight on, your vitality, your body, your workout routine, or maybe you never worked out before and then all of a sudden you're like, you know what, I got to start working out. Or maybe you switched up, maybe you found a new way to work out and you're like, wow, okay, I discovered something new that I never knew existed and I'm having a great time doing it. So it's about your health. It's about checkups, keeping your body healthy. Also, visits to the dentist. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you Sagittarius rising had dental issues that you had going on in the past 7 or 8 years. It deals with small animals and domestic pets as well. So in a lot of, when I work with a lot of different clients, for a lot of them, when they have big transits in the sixth house, a lot of times they'll say, I never knew I was being treated like a slave, because we do call it the house of slavery. And so a lot of them will get a wake up call and they'll go, wait a minute, I've been treated like a slave for the past, whatever, 10 years or whatever, and I'm not going to do this anymore. So maybe you had that kind of energy going on as well, where you had the Great Awakener, which is Uranus, step in the sixth house and really spotlight and show you have been treated like a slave, and it's time to change that energy. That is not good energy to have when you are being treated like a slave. Okay, so that is the energy that Uranus will bring into the sixth house. It awakens you. It's called the Great Awakener, and it facilitates radical change in that particular area of your life. And for all of my Sagittarius rising, it's affected the sixth house for the past, 7 or 8 years. So it's really put the spotlight on that, where you're like, you know what, this isn't working, and I'm going to create change regarding how I get things done, my daily routine, all of that. And I'm not going to be treated like a slave anymore. So you'll have this transit. It'll be retrograde until February of next year. So February of 2026. So one last visit. Like I said, you're used to this energy. You've been dealing with it for the past 7 or 8 years. So one last visit, and then it will move into another house. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed that forecast, and I'll catch you next time. Okay, welcome Capricorn rising. How are you doing? So this is your forecast for Uranus. Uranus is getting ready to go retrograde this coming Friday, November 7th, and it is going retrograde back into your fifth house. So what is the fifth house? This is not a bad house, actually. So the fifth house deals with pleasure. It deals with fun. It deals with like sports and your hobbies. It deals with children. Love, like finding new love, is under that influence as well. So romance, pleasure, fun, pregnancies, the birth of new children, hobbies, sports, games of chance, the stock market, and gambling. So Uranus, let's talk about that planet for just a moment. Uranus is the planet of radical change. It's known as the Great Awakener. Okay, so it has actually been in this house for the past 7 or 8 years. You're no stranger to this energy. And it has really awakened that area of your life. So for many of you that are Capricorn risings, maybe you got new hobbies. Maybe all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow, I love to travel now. So I'll just speak on behalf of my husband. My husband is a Capricorn rising, and he discovered the love of cruising. Like he said, I never want to go on a cruise. And I introduced him to cruising, and now he loves it. So he discovered a new hobby, a new thing to do. I'm just trying to think of what happened to him, a new way to have pleasure. That was a pleasurable thing, to travel and things like that. So that had happened because he's been dealing with this just like you. For all the Capricorn risings out there, he's been having the radical change happen in his fifth house of fun. And so it's not a bad house. So maybe some of you discovered new ways to have fun, new hobbies. Maybe you took up a new sport, something like that. So again, Uranus is going retrograde. It'll be retrograde till February of 2026. And one last visit where it's coming in and creating some change in that area of your life. So yeah, not a bad house. Okay, you're one of the lucky ones. My Capricorn risings, you are one of the lucky ones. Uranus has been in a really fun house for you. So I hope that you've enjoyed that. But one last visit, it'll be here in the fifth house of fun until early next year, February of 2026. Okay, so there you go. There's your forecast. Okay, Aquarius rising. How are my Aquarius risings doing out there? So this is your forecast for Uranus. Uranus is getting ready to go retrograde this coming Friday, November 7th. It's going retrograde into your fourth house. So what is the fourth house? This deals with your roots, your ancestry, your home. So it's creating radical change. So I wouldn't be surprised for a lot of the Aquarius risings out there if you have not. You probably moved, is what I'm putting out, what I'm guessing. With Uranus affecting your radical change in your home, you've probably moved several times within the past 7 or 8 years. It deals with the home. It deals with your roots, your ancestry. It deals with home improvement projects. So maybe you didn't move, but you went and did a lot of home improvement projects. It's about the space that you share with others, your house guests, visitors. Maybe you had more visitors and more house guests in the past 7 or 8 years. So again, Uranus on Friday, November 7th, is going to go back into the fourth house, where it has been for the past several years, 7 to 8 years, for one last visit. It will stay there until February 2026. So it deals with what your home looks like. It deals with where your home is located. It deals with real estate, buying and selling, or leasing of an apartment. So I guess for a lot of you, you're probably like, okay, I'm done with the moving. I'm done with dealing with the house issue. That area of your life will calm down as we get into about February, March of next year. It will calm down quite a bit. So I'm sure a lot of you are going, oh, thank God. I'm tired of moving. I just want to settle down and get my roots, right? It deals with ancestry. It deals with ancestry genealogy. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of you out there that are Aquarius rising are really looking into your genealogy. Where do you come from? Maybe you did a DNA testing and wanted to see where your ancestry lies. Those issues pop up when we deal with doing radical change within the fourth house. So again, this is a short visit. It'll be here until February of 2026, and then you'll be done with that area of your life dealing with radical change. Okay, so you're probably going, thank God, right? So there you go, Aquarius. That is your forecast for the upcoming Uranus transit, which will happen this coming Friday. All right, take care. Okay, Pisces rising. How are my Pisces risings doing out there? Hope everybody's doing well. This is your forecast for Uranus, which is the planet of radical change. It is getting ready to go retrograde into your third house. And it will stay in the third house until the early part of next year, until February of 2026. So let's talk about this. Just so you know, as a sidebar, I am a Pisces rising, so I can speak a lot about this. Okay, so Pisces rising, this affects me too. Um, we have hosted Uranus in our third house for the past 7 to 8 years. Okay. And I'm going to tell you personally what I had to go through. And so maybe a lot of you Pisces risings can relate. Um, so you are quite familiar with this energy that I'm getting ready to speak about in the third house. So what does the third house deal with? It deals with your neighborhood. It deals with your neighbors. It deals with chaos regarding neighbors, siblings, communication, and your voice. Okay, so it covers quite a gamut of different things. So for the third house, like I said, you are no stranger to the third house. Uranus has been in the third house for the past 7 to 8 years. So I can just tell you just real briefly what happened to me hosting as a Pisces rising, hosting Uranus, this crazy planet. Uranus is known as the Great Awakener. It's known as the planet of radical change. And it was in my third house because I'm a Pisces rising. So real briefly, we had, I know this is a crazy story, so buckle your seatbelt for this one. We had moved into this neighborhood. I had bought what I thought was my dream home. Okay. Bought my dream home. And I told my husband, I'm like, this is my dream home. I'm going to live here forever. And all of a sudden, our neighbors, who turned out, well, they started out being pretty normal people, started to go crazy. I don't know if you guys ever saw that movie or that show called Fear Thy Neighbor. That's exactly what happened during this Uranus transit, because Uranus steps in. It's the planet of radical change, the unexpected, right? The unexpected, and chaos. Okay, and so all of a sudden, our neighbors just started to get really like crazy and like dangerously crazy. And finally, I said to my husband, I said, we got to move. Okay. And it was unfortunate because I told my husband, this was my dream home. I don't want to move. This is my dream home. But here's what happened during the Uranus transit. We did end up moving because our neighbors were so out of control. I was fearing for my life at a certain point. So we ended up moving. But what happened is we actually found a bigger house that was affordable, and we got our interest rate almost cut in half during this time. So we're actually saving money, and we bought a brand new home that was energy efficient. It's the home that I'm in now, and it's bigger than the last one that we had. And we have beautiful views. We have less neighbors. We have a better interest rate. And because it's a brand new home, it's more energy efficient. So it knocked our energy bill down to half. of what it used to be. And so, thank God, Uranus came in and kind of shook things up regarding our neighbors, our community, because what it did was it forced us to change, and that's what the planet Uranus does. It steps into a certain area of your life and it forces you to change. And when it's happening, it sucks. I'm going to be honest with you. It was not fun when I realized that we had to put our beautiful home up for sale and move. uh, I was devastated because I didn't want to move. We had a gorgeous home, but it ended up working out in our benefit. We got a bigger home at a better price with a better interest rate, and it's more energy efficient. And the layout here is just amazing. So it works better for us and our family. So thank God, that Uranus stepped in and really forced us to make these radical changes regarding our neighborhood. So that's what it covers. It covers your neighborhood, your neighbors, your siblings. So at the same time, my sister lost her mind too. My sister was going crazy, and I was having issues with my sister. And so it deals with your siblings, your neighbors, your communication, your voice. It creates chaos in those areas. It's your mind also, your mind and your intellect. It's your voice. It deals with speaking, thinking, reading. It was during that time when I had Uranus visit my third house, which deals with communication. That's when I started my podcast. This is when I started my YouTube channel. This is when I started going live on Facebook. I never did any of that until Uranus stepped in to my third house. So it was a blessing in disguise. It also deals with contracts and agreements, the presentation of ideas, proposals. It includes marketing, public relations, self-promotion, and it deals with sales. It also deals with short distance trips. Um, we went on more trips during when Uranus was in my third house, which was the past 7 or 8 years. We went on so many trips, my husband and I, during that time. I'm sharing this because this is what personally happened to me, and maybe you can relate to some of that. Again, this is a general reading. The third house covers a lot of different issues. Maybe you can put in the comments some of the things that you've had to go through. But yeah, my sister, my relationship with her had changed, but it also dealt with short distance trips of all kinds. I went on more trips during the past 7, 8 years than I probably have in my entire life. So that was great that we did all that. But it also covers childhood experiences as well. So anyway, make a long story short, Uranus, which is the planet of radical change, is getting ready to go back into our third house for all the Pisces risings. I'm a Pisces rising too. I'm right there with you. It's getting ready to go back into our third house on Friday of this week, 2 days from now, on November 7th. It'll be there until February of 2026. So we'll have to deal with this energy one last time. And then, oh, goody, then it gets ready to move into our fourth house, which is the house that deals with our home. So I will do another upgraded forecast when that happens. But I just wanted to come on and let you know what is going to happen starting on Friday. So I hope that you enjoyed that. Sorry, my lighting is really bad. It's starting to get sunny. My lighting's bad. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that forecast. I resonate with you. I'm a Pisces rising. I am right there with you. I am so done with all the chaos and the craziness happening in my neighborhood. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed that. Thank you for tuning in, and I will catch you next time. Take care, my Pisces rising. Bye.